Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and good golly, Miss Molly. Welcome to another in my occasional series, the Underlooked Albums, where I talk about albums I think deserve a little bit more love and attention. And today we will be talking about the 1966 album Yardbirds by the Yardbirds. Now, the Yardbirds may not have been the most commercially successful of the leading British bands of the 1960s, but they are certainly one of the most influential and innovative bands. No other band can claim that three of rock's most celebrated guitar slingers passed through their ranks: Eric Clapton, Jeff Beck, and Jimmy Page. Indeed, Beck and Page were in the band together for a short period, and they progressed from their blues rock origins to become pioneers of psychedelia, hard rock, and sonic experimentation. As I say, today I want to talk about the 1966 album Yardbirds. It was released under that title in the UK, but the original US release was entitled Over, Under, Sideways, Down. It is, however, now almost universally known as Roger the Engineer due to the cover art by band member Chris Dreja. So that is how I will refer to it for the rest of this video. For a band that in its original incarnation existed from 1963 to 1968, the Yardbirds had a patchy recording career. Remarkably, this was their only official studio album released in the UK in their lifetime. This did not apply in the US, by the way, where there were multiple releases. They did have a run of successful UK singles and a live album, however. Now, the album itself has regional variations as well, with different track listings and mixes between the UK and US versions. Even the cover was originally different in the US. This was rectified in the 1983 Epic Records re-release, which had the Roger the Engineer cover everywhere. It also standardized on the UK track listing and mixes, plus the addition of 1966 single Happenings 10 Years time ago, too many S's in that title, and its B-side Psycho Daisies. And it's this 1983 14-track reissue I own on vinyl. So that is the version I will be discussing today. In terms of personnel, this was the only studio album to feature Jeff Beck on every track. And he also contributes some vocals and bass. The remainder of the band were the founding members: Keith Relf, who contributed on lead vocals and harmonica as always. Jim McCarty was on drums and backing vocals. Incidentally, McCarty still leads a version of the band today. Chris Dreja contributed on rhythm guitar and piano, and Paul Samuel Smith was the bassist and produced the album alongside Simon and Napier Bell. Samuel Smith was soon to leave the band for full-time record production, and this saw Dreja switching to bass. Now, Jimmy Page was not yet a member of the band when the sessions for Roger the Engineer were held, but he joined soon after. As a result, his contributions are on the additional tracks added in 1983, the aforementioned Happenings 10 Years Time Ago, and Psycho Daisies. And in this instance, the album tracks are all self-penned by the band. Overall, the album saw the continued transition from their blues roots to a cutting-edge modern sound, showcasing their unique blend of blues, psychedelia, and experimental hard rock. Jeff Beck's tone-filled, distorted, and aggressive riffing suffuses the songs. There are Eastern melodies, Gregorian chant, backing vocals, a specialty of the Yardbirds, and moments of great melody and power and emotion. I'm not sure that there are many other bands in the first half of 1966 that sounded as fresh and good as the Yardbirds did on this LP. Indeed, opening track on this release is a certified rock classic hit single, Happenings 10 years time ago, and it encapsulates the band and the period magnificently, incorporating rock, blues, psychedelia, and Eastern influences, and features some vintage Page and Beck riffing, feedback, and distortion. There's some cryptic lyrics and great vocals too, which round it off perfectly. And supposedly John Paul Jones played bass on this track, although I wasn't in the studio, so how would I know? Now, the blues have not been abandoned, of course, just built upon, and tracks like Lost Woman, Rack My Brain, and The Nazar Blue showcase this approach. The title of the latter track, incidentally, inspired the name of Todd Rundgren's 60s band, The Naz, who are also great. Check them out. Over Under Sideways Down, which was a hit single too, has an infectious groove with, again, that Eastern tinged guitar riffing, a pounding bass in this case, and echoing vocals. I Can't Make Your Way almost has to me, a melancholy folk sound, if it weren't for the insistent hard fuzzy guitar riff and the beautifully echoey break in the middle. Farewell is a beautiful piano-led ballad with those trademark Gregorian chant type backing vocals, which you hear in a number of Yardbirds tracks. The wonderfully titled Hot House, and I'm going to get this wrong because I always do, Hot House of Omagarishid. It's a waste of time getting me to pronounce anything exotic. Is a funky bass and drum led wig out, what would be called world music now. This is a bit of a rave up, but it's really neat. Jeff's Boogie is a swinging rock and roll blues instrumental, which would not have been out of place for me 20 years later on a Stevie Ray Vaughan album, with Beck showing off his chops. Glorious fun. Of course, Jeff Beck and Stevie Ray toured together. Sadly missed both of them. The main thing I like about the track He's Always There is that it features a nice, clean lead vocal by Keith Relf, minus a lot of the echo and effects on many of the other tracks on his vocals. So you really get to hear Keith on this one. Plus, I also love the proto hard rock riffing towards the end of the track. Another beautiful haunting ballad on the album is Turn Into Earth, with again that kind of Eastern influence in tones. And again, beautiful vocals on this one. What Do You Want, on the other hand, is a high energy rocker and is a standout track for me. It's infectious and catchy, and I'm pretty sure I can hear its template being used on many late 60s pop rock hits. It's just that kind of tune, and listen to it, I think you'll hear what I mean. And the track that closed out the original album lineup of tracks, Ever Since the World Began, is a mini proto-prog epic. It starts really dark and anthemic, and then it ends in a rocking jam. But the reissued version, which we're talking about today, closed out with another track that featured Jimmy Page, Psycho Daisies. And it's every bit the guitar workout you would expect with Beck and Page together. You also get a rare Jeff Beck lead vocal on this one. It's blues-influenced hard rock, which to me provided the blueprint for later bands such as Led Zeppelin. Surprise. My only regret about Psycho Daisies is that it fades out in under 2 minutes just as it's getting going, and there's some soloing going on that I'd love to hear the rest of. There's probably some sessions out there you can get it. I don't think I have a version of it with that, an extended version, not even in the Glimpses collection. But yeah, it's fading out just as it's getting going, but a great track nonetheless. Anyway, that sums up my thoughts on Roger the Engineer, the 1966 Yardbirds classic. Thanks very much for watching and listening, and I hope you enjoyed this look at the album. If you did, please leave a like and a comment. And let me know how you feel about this album and about the Yardbirds in general. Until next time, stay well and keep on rocking.